everyone, Dana here, and welcome to this 45-minute yin practice. I invite you to start in a child's pose. So for this child's pose, we'll come to a tabletop, bring the feet together, bring the knees a little wider than the hips, and then allow the hips to sink back down towards the heels. Then you can let the hands walk out and rest your head onto your mat. You could also place something underneath the head. So if you have a block or even a pillow or a cushion, you could grab it and then extend the arms out and place the head onto that block or pillow. So I invite you to stay here in child's pose for a few minutes. And I'm going to switch just so I can speak a little bit to the shape and the practice. So as you relax here in child's pose, take a deep breath in through the nose and then allow the exhale to pour from the body like water from a pitcher. Another deep breath in, breathe down along the spine all the way to the tailbone, to the belly. And then as you exhale, relax and see if you might let the belly and the chest soften down towards the mat a little more. Another full deep breath in through the nose, expand in all directions. And then exhale, sink the chest, melt the heart a little deeper, surrender a little more. You might take a few more of these deepening breaths as you settle into this first shape of our practice. So we'll be here for a few minutes. So in yin, we hold these stretches, these shapes, these yoga asanas for anywhere from up to 90 seconds to even a few minutes. So as we spend more time in these shapes, it allows us to move deeper beyond the superficial muscles and into those connective tissues, the fascia, even into the ligaments, the bones, the joints themselves. So giving the body enough time to surrender and start to allow the shape to do you versus you trying to do the shape. And as you allow the chest to soften here, the belly relax, feel the whole body melting downwards into your mat, into any props. You can feel the very grounded nature of this child's pose shape. So very internal, we turn in on ourselves. Maybe the eyes are closed here. And the body very nestled against the ground, against the earth. So this can be a very soothing shape, along with one that gently decompresses the low back, the spine. Especially if we have been sitting a lot at home or working from home. A shape like this, child's pose, can be so wonderful to do and hold in these longer stretches, these longer holds for a few minutes, even when you wake up or before you go to sleep. I often do both, start and end my day in child's pose, which may be kind of that cycle of life. This every new morning, we have a new moment. We follow the rhythm of the day. And then we surrender and let that day go. So this cycle of beginning again and again, very indicative in this child's pose shape. And as you allow the breaths to become a little deeper, a little longer, you might sense too that we have this ability to start over anytime we need. Every new moment, just like a new child, every new moment is fresh. There's a reason they call something the pregnant pause, right? That pause, that moment of new possibility. So allow yourself to have this pregnant pause to reset. Let the past be exactly where it needs to be. It's already done and over with. Be right here now. Let it go and start again with this breath in and this breath out. Now keeping what you have with this child's pose with the legs. With the upper torso, the arms will start to scoot it all over to the left side of your mat. So walk the hands over to the left. Let the torso, the belly come over to the left thigh. And then again, relax the head down to the mat or your pillow. And maybe the right hand even comes over and comes onto the left hand. So now there's a little side stretch in your child's pose. Stay there. And keep breathing in now, all through along that right side of the body. Breathe deeply into the right ribs, the right waist, even that space underneath the right arm. So again, cultivate those deeper breaths in and out of the nose. And as you exhale, can you feel that gentle stretch and awakening into that rest and then to that right side body? Allow yourself to have 3 to 5 cycles of breath here. Take your time. Breathe deeply in a way that's nourishing. Right? We have the time. Take a final breath here. Breathe in and side stretch to the right side. And now exhale, walk everything back to center. And now crawl the hands, the torso over to the right side of your mat. Maybe the left hand comes on top of the right. Allow the head to rest back to the mat again or a block underneath the head. And as you reach with that left hand towards the right side of the space, now breathing into the left side of the body. Creating space between the ribs, into the left side of the lung, the right waist. 3 to 5 breaths here into that left side of the body. Beautiful side stretch. So good for the spine. And a healthy spine, healthy mind, we know. Take another deep breath in here. Full breath in through the nose, down to the tailbone. And now back to center again. Let the arms extend. And then come all the way up. Now onto a tabletop pose. And now crawl the knees forward, cross the ankles. And we'll come to bound ankle pose or butterfly pose. So bringing the soles of the feet together. And I'm going to face forward towards you. You can stay where you are. So bringing the soles of the feet together. And now scoot your heels in towards your sits bones as much as possible. And now take a moment, just notice if there's any kind of strain or overwork in the legs, if you have blocks or a blanket or even a pillow, you could prop the knees with something underneath. So you might bring a pillow or blanket to either side, holding and helping the knees, the thighs to not have to do so much work. If you feel a little congested, so see if you might be able to sit up straight, tall spine. If that's very difficult to do or if there's any pinching, again, take a blanket or a pillow, sit up on something or a bolster, block whatever you have. So sit up, lift the hips higher, and then bring the soles of the feet together. So it can be nice to have the hips a little bit higher than the feet to relax and ease. So for me, this feels really nice. I need just a little lift. And now bringing the hands to the feet. You can bring them to the insides of the feet. You might bring them to the ankles, wherever feels right. But allow yourself to close the eyes here. Sit up straight first. And we'll take a few cycles of deep breaths. Here with the spine nice and straight. Relax the face. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. And each exhale, can you allow the legs, the knees to drop heavier down towards the mat? Each exhale, feel the inner thighs, inner groin soften and surrender to the shape. Full breath in through the nose and easy breath out. And now staying here, or you might start to try and bend the elbows and just hinge forward a little. If you hinge forward, see if you might go for length. Instead of rounding, trying to get the head towards the feet and rounding the back. Start with that straight spine. Bend the elbows and then keep the spine as straight as possible. And when it starts to bend, then you stop. So maybe you don't go as far and that's fine. But what this does is allows you to hinge from the waist instead of just rounding and collapsing the back. So wherever you are, slowly, breath by breath, start to find your shape, your variation in this butterfly bound angle pose. Inhale, spine lengthens. And exhale, you soften, maybe you hinge. So see if you might, in the stillness of this shape, through all the sensations, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Through it all, can you maintain awareness and focus of breathing in? And attention to breathing out. So the breath is your focus and all the rest, kind of like a camera, can be in the background, right? We don't push anything away. But at the foreground, crystal clear in our awareness, is the sensation of the breath. And we'll be here for another minute or so. So notice, if you're making this shape be harder. Are you over-efforting somewhere? Gripping, grasping, forcing? See if you can find somewhere to soften. This yin practice isn't about forcing, so no bouncing in the shape or trying to pull yourself down. Let it be a state of allowing and surrender. So just breath by breath. Gravity helps, time helps. But little by little, the body starts to assume this shape, like it's being molded, like the body's a piece of clay. Being molded into this shape little by little versus trying to force anything. So it's very gradual, and that's why we stay here for these longer holds. We don't rush towards some depth of the shape. We let the shape find us. And we practice, just like the Tao says, that ability to surrender and trust that by doing nothing, sometimes everything gets done. And if you've been folded, slowly starting to lift the spine back up to straight. And now keep the feet together, but extend the feet now beyond the knees. So the feet come closer to the front of your mat. So now look down, you've made a diamond shape with the legs. So before we were with butterfly, maybe in more of a triangular shape. This is definitely more diamond. So let the feet extend beyond the knees. And choose if you want to sit up on something or not. Now together, we'll come into this diamond shape by flipping the palms to the sky, lift up tall through the spine. And now as you exhale, let the hands, everything walk forward. And now in this shape, it's fine for the spine to round. So start to let the spine round, let the head tuck in, And as the palms, the fingers move towards the front of the space, you allow the upper spine to round. Let the neck be heavy, so maybe even the crown of the head faces down towards the mat. And I'll show you from the side view too. And if you have any props, any blanket or cushion, you might place that kind of on top of the feet. And so as you come into this shape, as you let the spine round, the upper back round, and the head tuck, you might be able to rest your head on a prop. And feel free to make it as tall as you need. So you could take a block, a pillow, stack another blanket on top. You make a little tower with what you need, right? So that as you round the spine, as the palms face up, the head has something to make contact with, and the neck doesn't have to work so hard here in this diamond shape. As you feel into this shape, if you have some space, you could even, keeping the palms up, you could sit up again and thread the arms underneath the calves. So thread the forearms underneath the calves, palms still up, and then let yourself round. So it's almost like the legs then become a little bit of a strap or secure place to hold the arms and hold you deeper into this diamond pose. No matter where you are, you might let the palms be up. You could bring the first finger, pointer finger, and the thumb of each hand together. So connecting the thumb and the hand and the finger, the thumb and the pointer finger on each hand. And you let the other fingers extend. You let the head be heavy and the back round, and maybe close the eyes again. And take 3 breaths here in diamond shape as you feel and allow yourself to breathe deeply right into the back of the heart space. Keep breathing here in diamond shape. You're just sitting up to speak, but allow yourself each exhale to soften the belly, let the lower back sideways relax. As you feel this gentle stretch all through the back body. So we often think about the heart as just being in the front of the body, but right, there's the back of the heart too, often associated with the past. And so as you breathe into this diamond shape, as you allow the shoulders to gently spread apart, the shoulder blades to spread, you might send your breath right in and out the back of the heart space. So imagine like you could breathe in and out of the back of the heart, breathe into the back of the heart, expand. And as you exhale right out the back of the heart, see if you might release something you don't need. So deep breaths into the heart, expand and receive. And exhale right out the back of the heart, let go of the past. Let it be and release. You could even, as you breathe here in this diamond-shaped pose, imagine those breaths in and out of the back of the heart as if they have maybe the color green. So breathing into the back of the heart, expanding, and exhaling green right out the back of the heart, taking with it anything no longer needed, anything stagnant or misaligned. For another minute, let yourself breathe here, be here in diamond pose. And you might sense why the yogis say that the heart burns brighter than 10,000 suns. Feel the power of this shape and the power of yourself. And this deep power you can connect to when you surrender. And take 3 more cycles of breath here. Let the exhales be long, luxurious. Let the exhales be a little longer than normal. Breathing in green through the back of the heart space. And releasing anything no longer needed. Let it go. Take another full breath in, and as you do so, lift the chest, unthread the arms if they work, and move any props you might have used off to the side. And reach down to the outside of the knees, close the legs together. And bring the hands by the hips, move the feet about mat width apart, and now windshield wiper. Let the knees rock side to side, left to right. And take your time. Feel any of the little residual sensations after that diamond-shaped pose and the butterfly pose before it. And now let yourself come back up to a seated shape. Cross the ankles, come back onto your hands and knees. So wrist under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And from here, scoot the knees back towards the back of your mat just a little bit. So now the knees are behind the hips. And a few hip circles. So let the hips come all the way to the back, right side of your mat, then through center to the back left. And then all the way to the front. Let these circles be as big or small as you like. But see if you might continue to allow the breath and the movements to fuse together. So it's very simple. But can you let this be a moving meditation? Noticing any urge to rush ahead, can you slow down? And then change direction. Other side, circle the hips, counterclockwise to the left. Slow down, breathing in. And take your time breathing out. If there's any message of this cycle we've been going through in the world, it's to take our time and slow down. And then we'll meet back at center. And from this shape, you can keep the knees behind you. And then we'll tuck the toes and come into a down dog just to set up. So allow the hips to come high. And you can bend both knees deeply. Really let the tailbone come to the sky. Press the chest towards the thighs. Come up on both toes, both balls of the feet for a moment. And now bend that left knee and let the right heel sink back down towards your mat. On an inhale, come back up onto the balls of the feet. And exhale, bend the right knee, let the left heel drop down. Once more, inhale, both balls of the feet onto the toes. And now exhale, bend both knees deeply again. Straighten both legs to your own degree. And on an inhale, we'll send that right leg to the sky to set up. And then exhale, step the right foot to the front of the mat between your hands and drop the left knee and the top of the left foot. Now take both hands to the inside of your right foot and heel toe your right foot to the right side of your mat. And now notice the right knee is tracking over the right ankle, but definitely not in front of it. So the right ankle could be a little bit in front of the right knee, but please try to have your right knee not crazy in front. So if you have to, move that right foot a little more forward. And then notice the right foot. The right toes can face a little bit towards that upper right corner of the mat. And for now, keep that right foot flat. Now turn your gaze towards the front of your mat. So let the shoulders be square. And then see for a moment, can you drag and pick up? You can drag that left knee a little bit more towards the back of your mat. And now staying here for a few breaths, keeping the arms straight, here in what we might call lizard pose. And again, if the floor feels far away from you, you could always grab a block or a blanket. So bring the mat to you, right? So you can come up on the fingertips, bring something under the hands so you find a little more lift in the spine. So wherever you are, take a few breaths here, spine lifted. Keep that right foot flat onto the mat. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out. And now start to bring that left hand down to your prop or onto the mat. Allow that right foot, allow yourself to come onto the blade, the outside edge of the right foot. Bring that right hand to the inside of the right thigh and turn the chest towards that right thigh to the right side. So on the outside edge of the right foot, left hand presses down to the mat. And then that right hand isn't pressing into that right thigh, it's just gently resting. And you turn your chest towards the right side, breathing in through the nose, breathing out. Face soft, jaw relaxed. One more deep cycle in through the nose, expand. And one more full cycle out, let it go. And now come back to center. Bring both hands to the mat again. And then you might choose, you can have that right foot flat again, or you could also come on to the outside edge of the right foot. We'll see. But facing forward again, squaring the chest. You could stay here, or you might start to come and explore coming onto your forearms. So again, you could bring the forearms to the mat or onto a prop. As you let yourself explore, maybe what is it like to keep that right foot flat? Does that work for you? You could try opening again, coming onto the blade of the right foot. But choosing one place for that right foot here in lizard pose. Again, you could stay upright, that would be fine. So either on the forearms or with the arms straight. We'll all close the eyes and we'll stay here for 5 cycles of breath. So see if you can follow and feel these next 5 breaths in and these next 5 breaths out. If the mind wanders, just start again. Bring it back, breathing in. And here I am, breathing out. On your next breath in, slowly draw on the forearms, re-straighten the arms, so I'll come back up to straight arms. And now heel toe that right foot back to the midline. You can bring any prop off to the side for now. Bring the right foot back to center. Bring that right hand to the outside edge of the right foot again. And now we'll start to straighten that right leg. Flex the right toes towards the face and shift the hands back so they're underneath the shoulders. So we're coming into half split. So looking down and seeing, feeling, is that right hip a lot forward? Is that left hip kind of lazy behind? See if you might square the hips first. So draw that right hip back. Press the left hip gently forward. You might stay on the fingertips, or again, if you have props, if you have a cushion or a blanket or blocks, you could place them underneath the hands. So feel free, always bring the floor to you. And as you flex the right toes towards the face, take a deep breath here. And as you exhale, maybe let the head drop a little bit, let the neck be long. For most of us, we'll stay upright like this. If you have space, you might start to bend the elbows and slowly hinge, letting the chest or the belly pour over that right thigh. And again, seeing if you can keep the spine straight. So as soon as you start to round anywhere, you stop. So maybe it's very subtle, a very subtle hinge forward. Let the eyes close. And we'll breathe together here. for 1 more minute. So bring all your awareness to that sensation of the breeze moving in and out through the nose. And let yourself feel and follow these next 4 or 5 cycles of breath. Notice nothing has to be pushed away, but we also don't have to get involved with every thought, every sensation, and create stories. So notice you can let the thoughts in the mind, all the sensations, especially maybe behind that right knee, right leg, sounds around you, all of that can continue in the background. But at the center of your awareness is this breath in and this breath out. Letting yourself be the eye of the storm. And practicing being okay when you're uncomfortable. As we see now, these practices will come off our mat and be so useful in our lives. So take another final deep breath here, in through the nose, and full breath out. And now slowly, carefully, start to rebend that right knee. Bring any props off to the side for now. We'll use them in a bit. And then let yourself come up onto the left toes, lift the left knee. And then drag yourself, spin over towards that left foot, come into a wide-legged shape. So bring both feet parallel to each other. And I'll face forward so you can see, but bring the feet about underneath the shoulders. Let the feet be parallel or even a little pigeon toe. And now shift so that you can shift your weight towards the balls of the feet, the toes, and come up onto your fingertips. Find a flat back. Exhale, bend the elbows and soften, relax down. On an inhale, flat back, you lift the heart. And exhale, bend the elbows, let the crown of the head come down towards your mat. Inhale, once more, flat back, come up onto the fingertips. And exhale, bend the elbows. Now we'll stay here for 5 cycles of breath here in this wide-legged shape. You could bring the hands right underneath the head. You could bring the hands out to either side, maybe grab the ankles. You could also grab opposite elbows and make a little box for the head. But see if you might allow everything above the waist to be very much like dead weight. So let the chest and the head, the crown of the head, pour down towards the mat. Face soft, breathing in and out through the nose. Take a final cycle of breath here. Full breath in. And a full long breath out. Let it go. And now start to crawl your hands over now to your left foot. So we'll spin the left toes forward. Come onto the back right toe. And then drop that right knee. And then heel toe that left foot off to the left side. Bring the hands to the inside of that left foot. So we'll find lizard shape on this side. So take a moment with that left foot off to the left side of your mat. Keep the left foot flat and have the left toes pointing out towards the left corner of the front. And then take a moment. Scoot that right knee to the back of your space so the right foot, top of the foot, is facing down to the mat. And now rest here and notice That right knee tracks over the right ankle, or the right ankle can even be a little forward in front of the knee. But face forward, square the hips. Let your gaze relax down towards your mat. And take a few breaths here. Again, you could always bring props underneath the hands, bring the floor to you. So find a bigger lift of the spine, lifting the heart a little higher. And take a few moments to settle into this side of lizard shape. Now let yourself plant that right hand down to the mat or your prop. Start to roll onto the blade of the left foot and bring that left hand to the inside of the left thigh. Turn the chest, keep turning the chest now. Drag the chest over to the left side. Let that left shoulder blade come down the back. And take a few breaths here. Opening the chest. Full breath in through the nose. And nice long exhale out. One more deep breath here. And now come all the way back down to center. You might bring that left foot back down to the mat. And now staying here, or you could again start to explore on this side, coming onto your forearms, bringing the forearms onto your mat or onto any prop you have, and then experiment. Maybe it feels better or helps for that left foot to open, come onto the blade of the left foot again. Or you might try keeping that left foot flat, let the left toes point out. Wherever you are, find a place, choose your place, commit, and then stay there. And of course, again, you don't have to fold down. You could stay upright with straight arms as well. So we all choose and find a place that works for us. And allow yourself to explore 4 or 5 cycles of breath here. This mat, this practice, like a little dojo, we can practice keeping calm through all the ripples and waves and challenges on the mat. So we practice here with the small things. So we can be a source of steadiness for ourselves and others off the mat in life, maybe with a bigger thing. Because we know how we do one thing is how we do many things. So practice here, being able to hold everything with this breath in and to be calm and accepting with this breath out. And if you were on the forearms, you might start to come back up now. So straighten the arms and then bring any props off to the side. Heel toe that right foot back to the midline. Bring that left hand to the outside of the left foot again. Now we'll straighten that left foot. Flex the toes towards the face and walk the hands back so they're underneath the shoulders. You could again scoot that right knee so it's under the hips. Here in half split. If you have any props and want, you can bring them underneath the hands. So bring the floor up to you, support yourself. You can find a little more space that way. And now notice, is that left hip really leaning forward, or are you kind of dumping and uneven to one side? Square the hips, so drag that left hip back. Let it be in line with the right hip as you flex the left toes towards the face. Again, left leg doesn't have to be completely straight. So you find your place. Most of us, again, will stay upright. If you do choose to fold and bend the elbows, again, you just fold until there's a little rounding in the low back, and then you stop. So it might be a very subtle hinge as you allow the eyes to close. And you find your seat of steadiness and center. At the center of this shape, on this side, half split. Notice if the jaw is being held, or if you're being stingy with the breath. Sometimes when we face challenges, we want to hold the breath. But really that just creates more tightness, right? It sends the system into a little cycle of tightening, of worry, of alarm. So the more you can let the breaths come and go, and especially let the exhales flow, the kinder you are to this nervous system, the more it can come to balance again. Final deep breaths in and out. And then slowly start to rebend that left knee back in. Move any props off to the side. Come up onto the back right toes. And lift the right knee, and then once again, come all the way back to that wide-legged shape. And so I'll face towards you again. Feet parallel. Or even a little pigeon-toed with the heels slightly out. Come up onto the fingertips, find a flat back. Lift the chest. And exhale, once again, forward fold down towards your mat. 2 more times. Inhale, find a flat back. Lift the spine parallel to the ground. Exhale, bend the elbows. And let the head hang down. Let the crown of the head face down to the mat. Once more, inhale, lift the chest, flat back. Exhale, fold, and now we'll stay here again for 3 cycles of breath. You might try a different placement for the hands. Again, they could come out to either ankle. You could even bring the hands towards the back, so behind the legs towards the other side of the mat. Or the hands could be right underneath the shoulders. Shifting the weight a little towards the balls of the feet so you're not falling back into the heel. Not living the past, not leaning into the future too much. Let yourself be right here, right now. 1 breath at a time. And now starting to come back up to a flat back. Walk your hands out. Bring the hands so that now the wrists are underneath the shoulders. So they'll probably come off the mat a little. And now let both knees start to drop down towards your mat. Bring the knees to the mat. And have the insides of the knees facing down. So we're coming into a frog pose. So notice insides of the knees are down to the mat. The insides of the feet are also against the mat. And then little by little, find your depth of width. So scoot the knees a little apart from each other. Keeping the hands right underneath the shoulders for now. So I'll show you from the side. So coming into this frog pose, as you allow the insides of the knees, insides of the feet to come down onto the ground. See if you can allow the hips to be in line with the knees. So instead, you might be leaning forward. So it's not that. Let the hips and the knees come into alignment here in frog pose. And now you could stay upright on the hands, arms straight. Again, you might come onto your forearms or bring something under the forearms, a block or pillow. And again, keeping the knees and the hips aligned with each other. Let the head relax. Let the neck soften. So the neck can be long as you let the chin tuck in and gaze down towards the mat or close the eyes. And we're here just for a minute in this frog pose. Feeling how you can have that steadiness in whatever is arising in the body, the heart, and the mind, anything around you in your environment. You can hold it all with kind awareness and one breath in and one breath out. Now slowly let yourself re-straighten the arms. Oh, and then little by little, walk the knees in closer together. Take your time. Sometimes coming out of these, you can feel 100 years old, totally normal. And then let yourself come over onto one side of the hips. Let the legs just come in front of you again. And lean back. Just let the legs swap out, coming out of that shape. Let the head come back. Sometimes this yin is almost a little bit of bitter medicine. Can be a little challenging while you're in it, but the benefits are so good. Sometimes you feel like jello coming out as you move into sleep. Then together we'll come on to the back, bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then exhale, let the legs, the arms come out into Shavasana, to corpse pose. Take up space, so let the arms come away from the body, feet flop out where they may. And together, take a deep breath in through the nose, belly, chest expand. And open the mouth. Let it go. Soften and be still. Allow the eyes to close. Here in Shavasana, corpse pose. Do nothing, just be. Let yourself just be a human being on their mat. This corpse pose, one of the most important poses of the practice. We die to the past, surrender to the present. Let yourself move and be in a place that's beyond your name, your titles, your roles. Any ideas about yourself. Be nameless, be formless. Let yourself melt and merge with vast awareness itself, this vast intelligence that permeates all living things. Without hurry, start to feel back into the whole body. Flood the whole body from head to toes, toes to head, with your awareness. Slowly, gently moving the body, little micro movements, and rolling over onto one side and pausing here. Breathe here, land here, in a fetal shape, another shape of a new moment. Let the past be in the past. And as you press into your top hand, arise back to a seated shape, back to this new moment. The whole chance to start over again. And to close, we'll bring both hands to prayer at the chest. Take a deep final breath in together. And exhale, soften, let it go. And wishing you health, peace of body, mind, and heart. Namaste.